Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Black. Today, we're going to talk about season 6, episode 1 of Love is Blind. Now, I was sorry that I'm a little late with bringing this out. I was kind of going back and forth about if I wanted to do it or not, but I appreciate you guys' patience. So, we're going to kick this thing off with first them coming on and showing us a little preview of what the season has to hold. Now, the preview showed a lot. It showed like who they were involved with. It showed like the interactions they were having, disagreements they were having. Pretty much gave up the whole show. But nonetheless, it was just a preview. So then we go to the Lacey's introducing themselves, the Lachey's introducing themselves. And I'm so happy to hear that Nick Lachey fixed his introduction because he used to come on there saying, of course, I'm Nick Lachey. Like everybody know who he is. But very pompous response. But nonetheless, after that, everyone got together with the ladies and the men and asked them, what is it that's stopping you from finding the love of your life? Like, what's been hindering you? And to be honest with you, those answers were a little bit lame to me. One says that she's a cheerleader. That's all people see in her is that she's a cheerleader. Other person says that they're big on fitness. And the other one says 25 years old and just being asked the question of, are you ready for something serious? Now, those type of responses as far as reasons why you're single or reasons why you haven't found your connection yet, those don't really mean much to me. What it says to me is that those are the things that you really dig about yourself. You like the fact that you're a cheerleader. You like the fact that you're a big guy. You like the fact that people have to question you if you've been 25 years old and trying to verify if you're serious about a relationship. Them asking if you're serious about a relationship is just one question. It's not the defining question to determine if you want to be in a relationship or not. You being a big guy, being big into fitness has nothing to do with the relationship qualities you have to bring. Same thing for cheerleader. Now, we also had another lady, I think her name was Jessica. Jessica came in saying that, she has a 10-year-old daughter and her problem is someone accepting her 10-year-old daughter. That's really, when I was thinking about that, I was really thinking about the fact she having a child. I'm like, at my age, I'm thinking, what's the problem? It's plenty of men out here who understand you have a child, but I had to realize she's only 28 years old. So her being younger in that age group, it can be a determining factor for men to decide if they want to be with her or not. But either way, your child is here to stay. So ladies, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're wondering if someone's going to accept your child, that should not be the biggest factor because the right guy will. So anyone that you turn away that you're interested in, they're just not the right person because the right person is going to always accept you and anything that comes along with you. All right. So with that being said, there was a question about when she should even entertain it. When should she even speak on her daughter? So my thing is that my advice is to say it as soon as possible. Now, at the latest, I feel that it should be said no later than after the first date. When you realize you want to have another date with this person, then you need to go ahead and let them know. You need to give them an option to choose and just take whatever they say because anything else is a form of manipulation. You don't want to wait until they get to know your personality for you to tell them some big news like that. You don't want to wait to tell someone you're married. You don't want to married before. You want to wait to tell someone you have a child. That is a form of manipulation. Give that person the option to choose. Let them know up front or as soon as possible. I understand you want to get to know them a little bit better. I get that to see if it's something that you want. But the moment you realize that is usually after the first date. The moment you realize that, you can go forward from there. But let them know, man. Let them know. All right. Then I heard something that one of the singles said, which was Matt, right? Matt had a really good question. I just didn't agree with Matt having a list of 1 through 15. And I think he was saying that, call out a number and I'll give you the question. Thought that was a little cool. Something about that was cool to me. But at the same time, you don't want the whole conversation to be about your questions. So if you do that, ask one of your questions and just kind of expound on it. Let it be a conversation starter. But don't let the whole conversation start with something like this. Just be all about your questions. Because you want to get to know them, let them get an opportunity to know you as well. And the opportunity to get to know you as well is where things fell short. He had a great question with, what do you excel at in relationships? I think that's a really cool question to ask because it gives you an opportunity to tap into their mind of what they think good is versus what you think good is and see if it's aligned. But when they asked the question back to him, he didn't like that. He got up. He's like, hold on now. I'm doing the interview. I'm conducting this investigation. You don't ask me questions. I ask you questions. Brother got up and left. So to me, I thought Matt was a little strange from that point right there. So any questions that you dish out, people, you guys have to know that we're at a point where any question you dish out, they're going to come back and ask you that same question. Be prepared for that. All right, so up next it was Clay, right? Clay's vibe was ideal to me because it seemed like he was being authentically himself. Now, in normal situations, I would say, I would disagree with what he's saying as far as, having an idol, which is his dad, having an idol and trying to mimic or interpret that idol's personality, the traits that you find that you will love about them. I will really fight against that. I will always say be yourself when it comes to, even if it's about being suave and being flirtatious and being, that cool guy, that ladies man. If it's that you don't want to emulate someone else's personality, you want to always be true to yourself, stay true to yourself. But in this situation, who he's emulating is his dad. So his dad's blood runs through his veins. So it's really hard to say, okay, I'm trying to be like my dad when it's really coming more naturally to him than he may even think it is. But it's just him being natural. It's not him trying to be his dad. He has to understand that. But I do like the fact that, him and AD, the way they had the flirtations going back and forth, it's not easy to flirt nowadays. It's kind of like a lost art form. And to be able to flirt on command is really difficult. So to me, I give them props and kudos for that. I like their little interaction when it came to that. However, the interaction when it comes to the looks, that part really did him in, Clay in when it came to AD. But the question itself was not such a far-fetched question because you're going to be curious about who you're dating, how that person looks in a situation like this. So I don't think that it was so far-fetched for him to say something like that, or for him to say that looks do have a certain level of meaning to me. That's for man or woman. I think everyone is thinking about that as they're talking to a person that they're interested in. So I think AD took that in a completely different way. I think she started thinking about the whole cheerleader thing, people like me because I'm a cheerleader. But this situation was a little bit different, being that Clay got to know her. They've been talking for a few days now. They understand each other. He likes her or whatever. Now he's saying, hey, I like you. I'm feeling you. I like the person you are. I'm digging your personality. Now I'm curious about your looks, and that's natural. So I think her giving him a hard time for that was unjust. I know that's not what the show was about, but him having a conversation about it was just a conversation. He was just saying, I would love to get, some type of understanding of how you look. She could say she could decline it. She had every right to decline it. But as far as judging him for that, I think it was a bit much. Okay, next up we have Matt and AD. I'm really trying to find the attraction here. I don't get it. I don't see it. But ladies, I do have some advice for you. I really want you to pay attention to, and I want you to take what I'm saying to heart. And it's not me coming at you. It's me just giving you some clarity from a male's point of view. Now, a lot of times when you're dating, you become the victim of your own attraction. So Matt was saying things like, I'm very comfortable when I talk to you. You make me feel, comfortable. I feel like I'm floating on clouds when I talk to you. It's those nice, sweet nothings that men can say to you that makes your heart move, make you tingle all over. And a lot of men can understand that that's what it does to you, and they will use that. And because of that, AD now feels that she is a special woman outside of the other women that are on the show. And Matt did that to her. He sabotaged her in that way because you can't say, oh, I feel so comfortable talking to you and I don't understand how it is you're able to do that to me when you've just had a conversation or two. When that happens, you have to ask yourself, why is this man telling me this? Why is he saying this so soon? I haven't given him anything about me to make him feel this comfortable, except for a little light conversation. I haven't told him any deep, dark secrets of mine. I haven't revealed to him anything that he's told me that I've been able to help him with or anything like that. There is nothing there to make this make sense. Okay. So also don't go for the man who's saying, oh, you're the first person I've ever been able to do this with or that with, if there's no meat on that bone. But you also want to make sure you feel this with that man. It's more about your feelings than his feelings when it comes to that type of a connection. So if he makes you feel a certain way, it makes your butterflies move in your stomach and everything, then you can talk about, go ahead and go a little bit further with your attraction for that man. But to me, when we say it as men to you so soon, it's definitely a red flag because we can't give you that much emotion without anything to pull from. So, ladies, please be aware. Listen to me when I tell you that when you are out on a date with a guy and he started telling you all these things about, oh, you make his world spin around and he sees so much in you. He can see his wife. He can see his wife when he sees you, and you guys have only been on a date or two. That's not enough to make the determining factor. Yeah. Then he told AD that you're the only reason I'm here. Like he was just adding it on, adding it on. And the more and more she went into it, the more and more he made sure that he was comforting her. So he was always asking, is that too much? Am I saying too much? That's a sign of him pretending to be vulnerable with you. And that's not cool. Not cool at all. That's why I say you got to shut it out early because once you're inside that bubble, it's going to be hard to get out of it because the kind words he said before is what got you in there. And the kind words are going to continue to keep you in there. And him coming back and just verifying with you makes you feel safe when he says, hey, are you okay? Am I speaking too much? Am I saying too much? Am I making you feel uncomfortable? These are things that you have to understand that it's going downhill from here. He's not playing games anymore. He's just going downhill. You might want to run. All right. So up next we have Jessica and Jimmy. Now, to be honest with you, I don't think that Jessica is going to be attracted to Jimmy when she meets him face to face. He has to do something about the haircut. The haircut is throwing me off, so I know it's going to throw her off. It's very military. It's very crew cut type of thing, and it's just not. I don't know, something's missing there. But I don't think she's going to be attracted to him. But Jimmy opened up to her and said, hey, she said, I have some insecurities of my family growing up, and I really want to be able to have those conversations with you. At that point, when she said what she said about her insecurities as well, they both should have tapped into that. It's really important to find out insecurities that your partner has grown up in, because when them asking you that, that's opening the door to have that conversation. So when someone feels like they can have a conversation with you about something in their past, they're going to open it up for you. And they want you to dig in. They want you to ask follow-up questions. When you don't do that, then it's something that's missing there. But you definitely want to do that in a situation like this where you don't get to see who's in the other room across from you. So if you guys are ever in a situation like that, make sure that you follow up and ask questions, because the insecurities of someone's past can creep up into their present or creep up into their future. So you want to make sure those insecurities have been dealt with and you can move forward from there. Okay. Jimmy's response to Jessica telling him that she has a 10-year-old daughter, his response was horrible. Okay. First and foremost, I know it caught him by surprise, but you have to be able to handle yourselves a little bit better than that. As a man, you have to be able to take anything that people throw at you, especially if they give you a heads up that I have something I want to tell you, something that's deep, something that's important to me. You have to brace yourself for those type of conversations. So I think he handled that poorly. And because of the way he handled it, I think Jessica should have been done with him at that point. The silence, even the question about how did you get pregnant? Was it through dating someone or were you married? What does that even matter? That child is here now. What does her past 10 years ago, no matter how she got pregnant, what does that have to do with her right now? So if she said that she went on the street and just laid out and just someone gave her a baby, what does it have to do with her now? So it's just one of those situations where it could have been one or the other, whether it's through dating or whether she was married. It turns out it was because she was dating. So what did you learn from that? What did you get from that? So I think he was caught off guard, rightfully so. I think that he just didn't know what to ask or how to respond to that statement. And I get it. It's a lot to process, but take that moment and process it instead of saying something dumb. People get hit with different things all the time. There's nothing wrong for you to take a moment to yourself and analyze it, see if you need to digest it, and then be able to move forward from there. But the way he did that was horrible. All right, so next up, you had Jimmy and Chelsea getting together. Now, Chelsea hits him with the bomb of saying she was married before. I'm telling you, Jimmy is getting hit left and right with these haymakers, but you got to be able to handle it better. And you got to be able to understand that you do not need to bring anyone else's situation into your current situation. That I know is a lot, but you don't say, "Hey, everybody's been hitting me with a lot today." Don't bring that, because that is what made Chelsea start crying. Right? That's what got her into her emotions. Now, Chelsea's emotions about the whole thing was kind of a flag for me. Not sure if it was a red flag, green flag, yellow flag, but it's definitely a flag for me because she has affirmations on her bracelet. And to me, that's a signal of someone who needs that constant reminder of who they are, who they are, who they can become, what they can become. And to me, to wear that around your wrist, personally, I feel that it's dealing with some other sort of insecurity that she may be holding. When she told him that she was an emotional person, that's an opportunity to ask, what made you so emotional? How long have you been this way? Have you always been emotional? At that time, did anything in your childhood started? I mean, those are conversations that are tough to have, but they are necessary to understand what you're really getting yourself into. And normally you wouldn't have such in-depth conversations if you're just casually dating, getting to know someone and then taking a regular process. But if you have only a couple of weeks to figure out if someone is marriage potential, you got to hit people with the heavy stuff. And that's what I think a lot of them aren't doing. They're falling for a lot of the surface things, and that's not getting them anywhere. All right, now we have Trevor and Chelsea. Now, Trevor said something that just really blew my mind. He said he was almost about to get married. He thought about proposing, but he's the guy who needs 100%. He said 98% of a woman he wants is not good enough for him. He needs that 100. Now, to me, that was kind of off-putting for one, but then it just didn't make sense. What are you asking for? You have an unrealistic expectation to think that a woman is going to give you 100% of what you want, just like a woman will have an unrealistic expectation for a man to give her 100% of everything she wants. People mess up. No one's perfect. But to me, in this situation, Trevor is saying that it's just an unrealistic expectation. So you're telling me that you can date a woman for years and not feel the need to propose to her, but you can go in a pod for a couple of weeks and find the woman of your dreams? That doesn't make sense. That consistency that he had with the person he was dating is consistency, and that is so important to both the man and the woman to see consistency. Now, because Trevor is delusional to that, these are the things I'm talking about as reasons why you have not found the person of your dreams. At first, Trevor said it's because he's a big guy, because he likes to work out. No, sir. It's because that you're looking for that 100%, and it's an unrealistic expectation. That's the true reason. All right, I'm going to skip Amy and Johnny and Alejandra and Jamal because, Amy and Johnny, they just was singing. He just sing that horrible song to her, so wasn't really much there. But I do want to tap into AD and Clay again. Now, Clay opened up and said, hey, I've loved women before, but I've never received that affirmation from the women that I've loved that they love me back the same way. That was deep. That was deep that he needed to share that. I get that. I think that AD does a good job of reaffirming how she feels about the guys, making them feel special, making them feel safe and all that stuff with her words and the sound of her voice. So the situation between AD and Matt really blew up in her face because unfortunately he ended up telling Chelsea the same thing. Now, I did know this was going to happen from Matt saying one thing. He asked her, well, are you going to tell anyone else about what happened here today? When she said, I'm just going to simmer on it, he felt relieved. At that point, I knew he had told someone else. I wasn't sure who he told, but I figured he had repeated those lines to someone else. They happened to be Amber. Now, to me, that's enough to go back to him and be like on his head about that. She should reject him. Amber should reject him too. I hope that AD told Amber that he said the same thing to her though. I don't like the idea of you knowing someone is a no good person and you allow someone else to go in and do it, find out for themselves, so to speak. Especially if you feel like you're cool with the homegirl or cool with your homeboy. So all these women are sharing a common interest. They're trying to find love and not trying to be hurt. So if that was you, you would want someone to tell you. It's not your job. It's not your business for you to tell them, but because you guys have something in common as far as being there to try to find true love and not be played, I think that AD should have said something to Amber. So we'll see next week if she did say something, or next episode if she did or she didn't say something. But let me know what you guys thought about today's review. Kept it light and sweet this time, man. Just want to get an idea of what you guys felt. Do you agree with some of the things I said? Let me know how you feel in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate the love, guys. Till next time, peace.
Black, 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 black.